Dollywood. Anyone been to Dollywood? Yeah, all right, fair enough. That year, my father-in-law was very sick with cancer. We were pretty confident this would be the last time we would see him, and that proved alive, and that proved to be true. He died a few weeks later. My daughter, youngest daughter, Kylie, was 4 years old. And if you know me, and you've heard me talk, you know that when I go on vacation or when I'm doing something, if I pay for it, we're going to get our money's worth out of that experience, even if we have to make everybody miserable to do it. And so with that sort of in the background, with grief forming in our hearts, but also the clear idea that we must make this an adventure, we went to Dollywood. We visited things, and we went to, it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it started raining. And so the rides start shutting down, except the water rides. And so we went on, those little, like Fury of the Nile at Worlds of Fun, those round boat things that go down the water and bounce off the walls, and you get about 8 people. And we got in one of those. The rain's coming down, but we're riding it because we had paid for it. And so I get out an umbrella to try to put on. The attendant says, "You can't use an umbrella." And, he's probably thinking in his mind, it's a water ride. But anyway, we go down the water, we're going, and it's raining, and water comes up over the side, and you're getting wet from the bottom up and from the top down, and it was just miserable. And then you go through a tunnel, and more water pours on you. And we were all 3/4 of the way through the ride, and my 4-year-old Kylie says, "Daddy, why are we doing this?" Kylie, I don't really have a great answer to that question for you. It did cause me to pause and think for a moment, and we then went home. And but I wonder if you've asked yourself the question that Kylie asked me: why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? I'm miserable. Everyone around me is miserable. But I just keep doing things that for whatever reason I can't stop doing. Why am I doing this again? Why can't I forgive? Why do I have toxic shame? Why do I always get angry? Why can't I be more patient? Why can't I be a better father? Why can't I be a better mom? Why do I keep doing this? Why can't I stop this destructive behavior? Why can't I implement that important discipline? Why do I keep doing this? And for whatever reason we get in these circles, these cycles, it keeps coming back. Why do I keep doing this? Well, I think there's 3 enemies that keep us stuck in these kinds of patterns of living. The first one is Satan. We have an enemy. And Satan doesn't want you to get out of those destructive behaviors. And he doesn't want you to step into discipline that will make your life better. The second is society. There are forces in our culture. This is not a conspiracy theory. This has been true throughout history. There are forces in our culture, Paul talks about them in Ephesians, that are greater than any one individual that are at play among us. We all contribute to these forces, and they become bigger than the individual parts of the sum of all our contribution to those. It's something in culture that's broken. And then there's the voices inside of us. Right? So we have Satan, our enemy, we have the culture around us, and we have self within us. And the greatest of these is self. Our worst enemy is ourselves. Is there pressure from Satan? Yes. Is there pressure from our culture? Absolutely. But the reality, if we're really honest, is it's what's going on in here and between our ears that's our biggest problem, that keeps us in these cycles. And I think the Apostle Paul, I think this is what he's addressing in Romans chapter 8. I think he's reminding us that there's a way of life that can be different. It's not easy, and there's no magic formula, and there's no 3-step process, but there's a way of living that can help you get out of this conundrum of asking that question over and over again: why am I doing this? Last week, Pastor Rick really opened the door for us in Romans chapter 8. Get a great summary of how we got you. You need to listen to last week's sermon to get a great sort of